So, did you and Allie talk about the tiny house versus rental car?
Yeah, we did. And
What's the
so
verdict?
she was kind of like thankful. She was like,
Thankful?
Oh, not thankful. She was kind of like, yeah, I kind of not necessarily lost interest on it, but she said it's more of that. She's like, for one, it seems like it's about the same amount of work, but one is going to make us money right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she's like, it's like the same amount of work, but the one
Same amount once it's done.
It's like
I was gonna say,
roughly
building the tiny house is way more work. But
yeah, roughly the same amount of work, and she's like, it's way less money up front, and it's making us money right away. And she's like, it doesn't really matter what it is as long as it makes the money. So she's like, it doesn't really matter to me.
She wasn't set on the tiny house, at least.
No. So she was like, she's kind of like, she was realizing that too when we rented the first car. She's like, well, why don't we just scale this instead? So, that wasn't her words, obviously, but so
just seemed like easy money.
Yeah, and she's like, and the other thing is like, we don't have to learn anything new, really. Like we kind of already know. You already know how to do it, is what she said. So she's like, it's not anything really novel. It's like there's going to be new things to it, but for the most part, I've done it enough that it's.
Well, you're still going to test whether it's doing well enough, but you have rented one at a time, two at a time, that one time. Mm-hmm. So like you have enough of an experience to know that it's possible.
Yeah, and her point was, she's like, we haven't ever even tried.
Right.
That's the thing. Like, even when I had that before, I never really...
Oh, yeah, you never...
I never advertised it or even tried to push renting cars. It was just, like, word of mouth, which is great. And so, like, that being said, it's like, she's right in the sense that it's like, if we do actually put some effort into it, I'm pretty sure we will rent them out pretty quick. So that's why she's like, I don't really care. She's like, I think that the cars are easier and less hassle, especially early on. It's like we don't have a 2-year time frame to get to that.
Yeah, just to start.
Right. And so what we discussed is we were talking about the house. It's like, realistically, this winter we can put a down payment on a piece of property if we don't get a Rockstar lot, which I was talking with her and she...
What about buying the other cars and buying two more cars?
Because it's 20% down normally is what someone owner financing is going to want. So if we pick up a $30,000 lot, which there's 3 lots for $30,000 in my sister's neighborhood. Oh. Nice lots, like 1 acre or half acre lots. And so it's not like ideal for us, but we were talking about, it's like, for one, we need to just build a house and get into a house. Because ideally,
have to be the dream on 10 acres and all that.
Right, we should take advantage of the capital gains on living in a house for 2 years. So we should buy a house or build a house, live in it for 2 years, and then move out and sell it, basically. And so we could use that to kind of snowball us into a better house, because realistically we can probably, if we pay for the well, septic, and the property out of pocket, probably $150,000 to $200,000 will build the house. Right. So our mortgage is only going to be probably $150,000 if you take out the well, septic, and property.
Right.
So if we can do that, just a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage house, on a 1 acre or less lot. Yeah. Basically, just find a decent lot in a nice neighborhood, and then turn around and sell it in 2 to 5 years.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
And then the entire time that we're doing that, I can grow basically once we have 3 cars and we have the down payment and everything, and we're building it, I can kind of grow the rental cars on the side.
Just as much as it makes sense, basically.
It's just easy, simple.
So would your plan would still be to get the 3 as quickly as possible and then kind of coast, not try and keep grow.
Right, yeah. So exactly what we're going to do is I'm going to buy, so as soon as we get back from fishing, once all of our debt's paid off and everything, that's the first step, is just get everything paid off. We're going to have $10,000 emergency fund just stashed away, so where we don't have any kind of worries or having to depend on that income at all. Right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a car for myself, which will be a rental car. Right. So what it'll do is I'll drive that until I get it rented, and then as soon as I get it rented, we should have enough cash at that point to buy another one. So if there's 2 cars in limbo, we won't buy another one until both are rented and someone else is needing one, basically. Right. And then we'll rush to buy one, because I can find a car I don't need to have a screaming deal in the car. I just need to get a cheaper
as long as
car.
it's cheap enough. But,
So I can just kind of wait until we have a rental, and
Right.
it usually gives us like 30 days. Usually I know like 30 days in advance, so I can find a car in 30 days and
Yeah.
just buy it for that rental, and then it pays for like, you know, almost half the car in most scenarios. Maybe a quarter when I'm
Yeah.
buying these cars, a little more expensive. So
Right.
it'll pay for a quarter of the car in the first rental, which is kind of sweet because then it's like you're getting that money back right away.
So it pays for a quarter of the car in the first rental?
Yeah.
Like the first month or the first?
First 3-month period.
Okay.
Usually it's about a quarter.
Huh.
Because if even at $500 a month, that's $1,500.
I see.
That's almost $2,000. $2,000 would be a quarter of an $8,000 car.
Okay. So not even quite a quarter.
Not even quite a quarter
So
at
it's going to take
500.
a full year to pay off each car, basically.
At 500, but if so there's two things that play into that. I can probably get better deals than 8,000. I'm still limboing like what I'm wanting to get. I'm trying to get cars that are under 100,000 miles.
Right.
But the more I think about it, it's like I can get, if I take advantage of the loan programs of like, you know, the stereotypical 100,000 mile or 10 years, there's loans. But as soon as you get above that, there's not loans. So if I get one with 101,000 miles and I'm paying cash, I can probably get them for $6,000.
Right.
So it's like
I thought you were
$2,000.
saying your ROI was going to be like 50%, not 20%.
That it is.
2,000?
That's in a 3-month.
Oh, 3 months.
That's only 3 months of rental.
I thought you were, I don't know.
Yeah.
You did say that, but for some reason in my head I was thinking.
Yeah,
a year.
no. I'm saying in the first rental, I'm going to make
Okay.
25% ROI
All right.
in just one
Yes,
rental.
yes.
So then if it doesn't rent out the rest of the year, it doesn't really matter because it's still a good ROI. I mean, and so, but it helps get cash flow back in, you know, an
Right.
account
Okay. So
instantly.
within a year,
They
a
should
good
pay-
year, the car would be paid off.
Yeah, and then that's what I was getting at is like, you know, if I can buy a car that's at 101,000 miles but newer, they're actually selling for like $6,000 or
Yeah, somewhere in that range.
somewhere in the $6,000 range.
6 to
So
8.
if I can pick them up for $6,000, that starts to make the numbers even better. And I realistically, most of the nurses aren't going to put on more than, you know, 5,000, not even 5,000 miles. And it's probably five to 10,000 a year. So I could run them for 2 years and they'd only have 125,
Yeah.
which for a modern car is not bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know yet what the plan is there, but if I can pick them up for like $6,000, $7,000, even $500 a month income off of them is like really good.
Yeah.
And then you just bank on the summer basically. Try to rent them during the winter, and then when summer hits, try to get that 1,000 to
Yeah. Bigger.
1,500 a month. And
Right. So if those cost you, well, you already have one, you could sell it. Well, you have it rented out for 3 months now, but
yeah,
how much would that one sell for? Like 6 to 8? Same range?
with the door, yeah, 6 to 8.
Okay.
But if it's fixed, probably 10.
So basically to buy the next two, it's going to cost you about 15,000.
Yeah.
Does it make more sense to just put that 15,000 towards a down payment on the property?
No.
Why?
Because if I put it towards the cars right away, they're going to cash flow the property in just a quick amount of time.
Well, not really quick.
But
It would take you, what would we say, 500 times 12, 6,000 a year? Is that right?
it'd take 10 months with all three.
Oh, because you'd have all three.
500 times.
So in
15.
the year, well, no, it would take 1 year just to pay them off.
No, I'm
To
going
get
to
your
have
money
the
back.
cash. Oh, no. But that would be cash in my hand.
Okay.
So I could
it'd
put that
take
directly
you
to
about
the
a year to get the 15,000 back.
Yeah.
I got you.
But I think I'm going to have extra left over. But I don't want to buy the property first because then it's going to be like a $500 a month payment for the property. And then I also have to save up for more cars. I'd rather have all three cars already to where when I have that $500 a month payment, I'm still
Right.
cash flowing like $1,000 a month, let's say.
So even though you
on
spent
top.
money up front, it's just income, at least that's consistent. So.
Yeah, and then it kind of just helps cover the cost of the property and getting well and septic and all that kind of stuff put in.
Cool.
So,
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, if it even just covered the cost of the property, that's pretty sweet.
right, exactly. So that would be kind of my thought about it. And then the other thing too is when we go get a mortgage, for one, I can show that income on my taxes, which will help
Which income?
the
cars?
rental cars.
Oh, you're gonna make it like a legit business
you got to
income.
pay taxes on it. So, but then it kind of shows on the taxes and helps my income, and then also it will allow me just to pay for the mortgage with that, basically. 100%, because my mortgage is not going to be
Right.
massive. I mean,
Yeah, it'll be so low.
it'll be pretty low. So,
Cool.
and then that would allow us to live in a house for probably less than $1,000 a month or whatever,
Right.
all said and done. I know my sister and them, when they did their house, their mortgage, they ended up paying, it was like $700 a month is their
Right.
house payment,
Yeah.
and they
So
had
it'll be a
about,
little more now, but
but they also, no, actually, because their interest rate was pretty high and they haven't refinanced. And then
but I
also,
was thinking mostly like building supplies have all gone up so much.
but there's a lot of stuff that my sister and them did that costs a lot of extra money, and I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
So, like, for one, they did 10-foot ceilings.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to do 2.5 sheets of sheetrock for the entire building.
Just more.
And then they
sheetrock
have
more
lofted
everything.
ceilings, and they have
So you
polished
could build
concrete
it
floors and concrete countertops, custom concrete countertops, and a super elaborate kitchen and really fancy stove. And, like, they just have a lot of
Yeah, I get it.
added stuff that's not necessarily necessary.
Yeah.
So I think we can get by with about the same if we do a basic 2-bedroom, 3-bath, something that I can turn around and sell, or 3-bedroom, 2-bath,
Yeah, it's very kind of just like
generic.
right in the middle. Yeah.
Middle of the road, nothing fancy.
Appealing to anybody.
Yeah, make it look fancy, but not actually fancy.
Yeah.
Luxury vinyl planking and,
Yeah.
white trim, MDF trim,
Mm-hmm.
your basic
The nice cheap options.
countertops,
Yeah. Cool.
that kind of stuff. And then hopefully the idea would be to turn around and sell it for down the road. By that time, probably like
I'm sure I'll make
$375 or something in that territory, honestly.
at least. Yeah.
Yeah, with
It's
the way the
already-
market is, it'd
already-
probably be worth
Yeah.
at least 300, which
300 to 400.
which would be sweet because then we can actually use that to buy
Yeah.
a piece of property down the road, or we'd probably buy the property ahead of time, but
Right.
while we're living,
But it didn't make a huge
Yeah.
help a ton. So,
and at least we could live in that for 5 years easy and not.
yeah. You're not going to really grow out of it too
Yeah.
fast. Cool.
So
All right. Well, I'm going to get back to actual work. So
yeah.
sounds good.